welcome to the All About Property live show. So this week is all about building relationships with agents. So Daniel Duffield, who creates great content, a friend of mine as well, he makes this easy for me. So each week I come here and I do a live video specifically for this group, content specific for this group about conversations that's gone on in this group. Bit of a tongue twister for me there this morning, but yeah, each week I'll be turning up around 11 o'clock to do a live video. I've done a live about Daniel's post before. Daniel creates great content, check him out. And this week's live is about his post how to build relationships with agents. A very important thing. So I've got a question at the front end as well. Do you think property deals are still to be had with agents? What's your views on that? What's your thoughts? Stick it in the comments. Let's make it a bit of discussion. I'll skim through Daniel's post. It's quite a long one, so I'm not going to attempt to read it all. I'm a little bit dyslexic, so probably a bit too long for me to attempt to read this one, but I'll skim through it. But I'm Harvey, I'm a remote property investor. I do a live show here every week. It's all about property live show, content specific for this group about posts that's been in this group. Spat it out better than I did the first time. It's approved by OIS, so if you're thinking about doing lives, run it past OIS, the group founder first. But this week is all about how to build relationships with agents. So Daniel put a post in this week, and as I said, Daniel does some great posts in the group. Check his stuff out. He said how to build relationships with agents. You've heard the old trick. I'll just go into the agents with cakes and they will soon be sending you amazing deals. What a load of rubbish. And what's your views on that? Do you think that's rubbish? And again, I'm really asking you, this is a separate question what Daniel's asking. Do you think there's still deals to be had? Let's quickly go through Daniel's post. At the very most, you will be added to a list of about 127,683 people will be on that, and essentially the same is scrolling through Rightmove. It's the same as scrolling through Rightmove. If you want to build true relationships, you need to be a little bit more diplomatic than that. You also need to be patient. What we did to start. So he gives you some tips on what he did to start. So I'm just going to script over them tips. As you can see, I'm a little bit dyslexic. There's a few words in there I'm not sure how it's read out as well. So he's number one tip. So I'm going to add you a few more tips to this. Daniel's added 6 tips in here, which I'm going to cover now, and just give a quick little skim over, give my views on them tips. And I've added an extra 6 that just builds on Daniel's ones, that just complement the ones that Daniel's added in. So his number one tip is create a list. So anyway, I'm not sure if I'm seeing the comments. Sometimes I can't see the comments. Stick in the comments. Do you think there's still deals to be done with agents? Before I go into the tips, it's probably worth discussing that. Or do you think it's over? I get so many polarizing, I've got to call it bipolar, they're not crazy views. I get so many polarizing views on this. Some people say, no, you can't get no deals off a Rightmove and from agents. It's dead. It's got to be only direct to vendor. Some people say it's too difficult to get deals direct to vendor. You need to build relationships with agents. Well, in my experience, and this is only in my experience, I feel using a multiple attack on where you get deals from is the best way to get deals. You don't want to just rely just on agents. You don't want to rely just on direct to vendor. I feel you need to build in a few strategies, and I'm not going to talk about direct to vendor like there's different ways with direct to vendor: leaflets, Facebook ads, direct mail with letters. I'm not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about building relationships with agents. And in what I'm seeing, there is definitely still properties to be had with building relationships with agents. And I feel that's the best way to get the properties from the agents. What's your views, Seth? You're on here. Do you think there's still properties to be had from agents? What's your views on that? It'd be great to hear what your views are on that. But definitely there is deals to be done with agents still. We've just done 2 in last month from agents, and both of them was deals that had either fallen out or from the relationships I'd built. So last year, granted, it was much harder, but even direct to vendor was much harder. Apart from there was a little period in a lockdown which people went with direct to vendor Facebook ads, which they capitalized on that because all the market was shut. There was a little window there that they took advantage of, but short of that little window, it was really harder to get deals last year for most people that I spoke to. So agents included. But what you do with agents, if you stay consistent with agents, and that's in Daniel's tips, if you stay consistent with them, what happens is you stay fresh on their mind. So this is an example of that. So in a 2-year period, I bought for myself and my investors around 50 properties, close to 50 properties, not quite 50, but close to 50 properties. And we was fresh on the agent's mind. I was talking to them the most, and the predominant amount of them deals, I'd say probably I've not looked at the exact statistic, but maybe 85% of them deals came from agents, maybe even a little bit more. Not many direct to vendors, mainly just from agents. So I was fresh on their minds. I was phoning them up all the time. I had great relationships with them. I went to some of their weddings. I was going out for dinners with them, got all their private phone numbers, really got on with them well. But then in 2019, because we grew the portfolio so large, so quick, and we self-managed, and I didn't pay as much attention to the managing side of it, still undoing that mess to this day. We're getting there now with that. I had to slow down buying and really concentrate on getting the letting side organised. I tried to outsource it initially, couldn't find somebody I trusted with it, so we just worked on it. So we got a business coach and worked on my lettings business. Over 2019, because I wasn't active with the agents, I stopped hearing from them. You know, I did buy, I think we bought 4 from agents in 2019. We've done a few other deals. I think we've done about 8 direct to vendor landlord deals, just straight on, but not buy refurbished mortgage. We've done 4 just sort of directly from agents that year. And out of them 4 property, because we only done 4 properties, I wasn't on their minds much. I wasn't viewing, I wasn't speaking to them. None of my team was viewing with them so much. And I stopped getting called. Then beginning of 2020, we was in a position, right, lettings is settled now. Let's get back to buying some properties. Got out there January, February, really got active with the agents again, and then all the phone started ringing, started coming through with deals again, the same agents. So out of mind, out of sight. So definitely keep them relationships there. The thing is, when you start building relationships with agents, you step in with, they've got a preconceived conception of you, which is quite low, because you've got so many people that come in and mess them around, or they watch a YouTube video, or they go to a seminar and they think, well, I'm going to be a property investor, or they think I'm going to be a deal packager, and they go in and they try to do some deals with these agents, and as a result, sometimes, because everybody says this saying, when you go to the seminars, it'd be find the deal and the money will find that. If you get good enough deals, the money will find it. But there's a little bit more to it than that. You just don't find a deal and somebody's going to knock on your door and say, do you know what, I've got an inkling that you've got a deal and I've got a lot of money, so do you want some money to buy this deal? You've still got to do a strategical effort in behind getting that money for them deals. Yes, whenever I find good deals, I never struggle to finance them, but it's because I've got a profile, and that's beyond the point of this. But what I found, and what I spoke to lots of agencies, a lot of people get told, find a deal and the money will come, and they bid on stuff, and they fall out, they don't follow through from it. Or they just come in and they pretend they're going to buy loads of properties, and the next minute they're missing. So agents have got a preconceived conception of you before they even start. So you've got to prove yourself to them at the front end. So when you first walk in, and especially like one of Daniel's things saying about walking in with cakes, that just definitely don't cut it. Take them out for lunches and take them out for coffees. Try and meet up with them as regularly as you can, and this can be done. I'm a remote investor. If you're prolifically buying, so when I was buying, like when we bought 50, well close to 50 in about a 2-year period, I was going up every other week at that point. So every other week I was on the phone to them regular every week, and then I used to pop in, see them all. There's a estate agent row, and you just pop in, see them all, invite some out for lunch. As I get to my hotel in the evenings, used to go up on a Wednesday evening, invite someone to lunch and have some to dinner as I turn up, and make use of that time. But building these relationships, most deals get done on a follow-up, whether it's directly to vendor or whether it is through an agent. So what you want to do is build them rapports ready for the follow-ups. You know, so the ones we got last month. Was it last month? It was the month before now, I think. The ones we have got, the few we've got, not as many, granted, because the market conditions have just forced that, not because it's not good with agents. The market's been bonkers because of COVID and all this money in the market. So the ones we have got have been either ones that somebody else bid on and it got down valuation. Because I'm fresh on the agent's mind, they've come back to us because I'm there. So I've asked about the deal, we've inquired about it, said, oh, it's a bit too much money for us, but keep us posted. You phone them up regularly for the follow-ups with that, and then the first person they phone is you, because you're fresh on their mind. They knew you was interested in it. Their vendor's much more motivated now, and they comes to you. This is going to be happening more and more increasingly as the government support starts like softening off, which it's going to. They can't keep on pumping this money in the economy. These will happen more and more. So at the moment, if you're even not getting deals at the moment, the relationships you're going to be building with agents and staying fresh on their minds is worth so much more than the deals that you could be doing now. So if you're in a position, make sure you do your numbers right. Make sure you get the deals how you want to get the deals, and slowly bid on things or not bid on things, and just keep them on your follow-up list to ask them about, because you don't want to embarrass agents. That's one of the worst things to do. Lowball offers is definitely a bad thing to do, but keep on their mind. Ask them if they thought about reduction. Yeah, I'm not going to offer because I don't want to embarrass them. Really keep fresh in their mind. So if it does get reduced, or if it does go through a sale that falls out, 1 in 3 sales fall out of bed, by the way. So if it does fall out of bed, or if this stamp duty thing, people don't get in on time for this stamp duty thing, and all of a sudden they go, oh, I've got to pull out now because I was upgrading my house and I was relying on the stamp duty, things like that's happening. All this stuff will stand you good. When the market does start drifting, I don't think it's going to fall off a cliff at any time soon, but it will start coming back to some more levels of normality to where it was before, and potentially a dip within that. You're going to be well positioned. So the equity that you're gaining is in the relationships, not in actually the properties you might buy. But in the meantime, if you pick up a property, you've got a bonus, but you're just giving yourself a forward delayed gratification. So let's go over Daniel's little tips here. So I definitely think there's still deals to be done with agents. I think you need a multi-pronged attack. We've upped our game with the direct-to-vendor stuff and the Facebook ads, but that's a conversation for another video. So Daniel's tips are: create a list of agents in your area and pop into each one of them, see how they work, suss them out, go back to the whiteboard, he says. So yeah, great little tip. If you're in the area, again, even remote invest, pop to the area or even phone them up. Just phone them up regular, make a note of them agents, who you resonate with, who you bond with, and just constantly try and stay on their mind, whether it's popping in or whether it's on the phone. Both ways work. Try and get a feel for them. There'll be certain agents, there'll be price brackets of properties that you want to buy, and there'll be different agents that have got them properties in that price bracket. So yeah, definitely get in there and be around them a lot, whether it's in person or across the phone. At the moment, it's got to be on the phone because all the agents are shut, although they're operating, their offices are shut. It says create a CRM system for these agents and visit them on repeat for long number of months, once a fortnight for 3 months, and you will start to get to know the agents. Yeah, I'm not going to read all that, but yeah, exactly. It's just that regular, staying that consistent. Number 3 is be consistent. So massive thing what happens with people in every business is not just properties, they're not consistent with it, or they fall off with it. They start doing it, and then just as they're getting somewhere and they think, oh, this don't work, and they just give up too soon, or they're just inconsistent with it, they get sidetracked and they look at something else. So being consistent is a massive tip. Number 4 is ask questions like, has anything fallen through recently? Do you have anything coming up onto the market? If so, can we view it before it goes online? Number 5, Daniel's tip is consistently reiterate your requirements to them. Yeah, so what you want to be doing is you want to be training them into what your requirements is. Never ever tell agents, no, I don't like that, that's no good, and blah, blah. It's in my tips here as well. But you always want to be training them into, you always say, oh, that looks okay, but this is how I do my numbers, this is how it works for me as a business. So you train them into what your requirements are. Number 6 is try to get their personal numbers and their WhatsApp. And yeah, if you can get their personal numbers, as I said, I have over the years, I text them. If there's a deal, I'll text them and say, what's the story of this? And you just start building that bit of rapport and that bond. If anybody else has got any tips to add to Daniel's, that'd be great. The more we get from everybody, the better that will be. Oh, I've lost my comments there. But yeah, put it in the comments. Do you still find a success with this? Safe said, where's your iPad? I haven't invested in that yet, Paul. It's coming, mate, but I'm not using the whiteboard today, mate. But thanks for that little masterclass the other day. Really useful. It's definitely coming. Safe said, I agree, mate. So many deals fall through or haven't gone on the market yet. Absolutely. Paul, I'm wondering what your views are on this as well. Do you still get deals from agents, or do you think it's just dead? It's definitely different, area specific. Remember, what you put your focus on, the people that think that agents are dead are probably not putting focus on that agent, they're putting focus on their direct-to-vendor letters or their direct-to-vendor Facebook campaign, and the people vice versa. So where you'll put your energy and consistency, you will start be picking up the deals. Seth said, when you have good relationships, they contact you because a mutual win, they make a quick sale. Especially, look, in the properties I buy in the north, they're under 100k, so they're not working on a commission. There's a fixed fee to sell that property. So they just want a quick sale. They don't want someone who's going to kick the tyres and it falls out of bed really quick, or because it said 1 in 3 properties fall out. So you want someone reliable, especially, is it under 100k? I think most of them in my location, under 100k is a fixed fee, so they're not getting any more commission. And even above that, even if you go to 150, the commission's so minute, they're not that worried. They're more worried about getting it off their books and getting the next one in. Tanya's on. Morning, Tanya. How you doing? So yeah, they're Daniel's tips. These are a few extra tips that's going to build on that with it. So I've got 6 here. So my 6 is I'll quickly read through them and then I'll go into why I think they're tips. So number 1 is don't go in there asking things like, I want below market value, I want off market deals, I want direct to vendor. This stuff really pees them off. Number 2 is find them on social media and connect with them. 90% of people are online today. Number 3 is follow through with what you say. So if you say you're going to do a deal, follow through with it, or give yourself offers subject to give yourself an out in case you are going to fall out. Number 4 is speak in their language. Use terminology that they're familiar with, not BMV, not option agreements, not direct to vendor. Number 5 is think of genuine, thoughtful tokens of appreciation if an agent's done something good for you, you know, not a brand envelope, not cakes and things like that. Just think of something thoughtful. I'll go into a bit more detail on these. And number 6 is just pick a few of them. Don't try and make relationships with all of them. You'll find some agents that's got your style properties, as I said, and then find them ones in there. Find people you get a bond with and rapport and stick with them. So I'll go into these all in a bit more detail. I've spoke to loads and loads. They actually call me. I get on with them. I've got agents that send me deals that are on the market with other agents. When they spot one, they go, "Oh, this is a good deal," even though it's nothing to do with them. They just get on with me. They just show me them deals, and send them over to me. So I speak to them all the time and ask them questions. What's going on? How many new investors are there? New investors are really a lot of competition because they often don't know how to do their numbers and they overbid on properties or get emotionally bid on properties. So it creates a difficult competition. But do not say, number 1, as I said, tip is do not, my tips is are building on Dan's, is do not ask for below market value deals and all these terminologies. They really don't like that. They really think you're coming in being pushy. They really come in, I just don't like it, full stop. It's not their terminology. They don't like that. So you really will break more relationships down than you will gain. I'll tell you some of the terminologies in a minute, but yes, so important. So many people make that mistake, and especially going in or lowball offering, really bad mistake. Agents really don't like that. You really offend them, you know. There's a way to offer without offering beyond the scope of this video, but definitely don't go in there lowball offers, saying I want direct to vendor stuff. You really pee them off. Number 2 is find and connect with them on social media. As I said, 90% of people are online today. And what you want to be doing is building your personal brand to show that you are serious. You're not one of these people that just turn up. If you've done videos for a year, 2 years, you've been consistent with this. So even if you're starting today, you want to start. So what people say is, the old Chinese proverb is, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago, the second best time is now. So even if you've not got a past history, start now. Even if you're not buying properties, start documenting the books you read, the seminars you go to, the meetups you go to, the network events. Start showing your credibility. Share the articles that you're reading or share your views on the articles you're reading. Start building up a consistent trail of it. If you're viewing properties and bidding on properties, start sharing what you're doing. So then what you want to do is try and find these agents online and connect with them. And the nature of human beings is they check you out, you know. They look through your profile and go, "Oh, what are you up to?" Told this story many times, but I bumped into a guy at the front of a property with a new agent I've never met before. The guy recognised me because of my online profile. He's another investor. We started talking. That agent went off and searched me online because I said, "Oh, you're from Growth Properties, blah, blah, blah." He went off and searched me online, and he even admitted to me afterwards, my preconceived conception of you, because I was coming up from the south, was not that good, you know. And then when he spotted me online out of his curiosity and checked through what I'd done, it then shifted his preconceived conception. And he actually, in fact, tried to come and work with me. It didn't work out. We didn't get anything going, but he wanted to work with me. He started being different with telling me about how the deals were. He treated me completely different. So what you want to do is connect with them online, but also do a bit of research on them, what they're into, what do they like. Are they into a football team that you might be a rival of, or it might be the same team? Have they been on holiday to the same place as you? Just be a detective, you know. Don't be a stalker, by the way, but be a detective with these things. So number 3 is follow through with what you say you're going to do. Do not offer on stuff hoping that you're going to get investor. Be clear with them. If you say to them things like, "Do you know what? I work with a number of investors. I might bid on behalf of these investors. Is that okay? We shift these on, so I'll be bidding on behalf of these. I've got a pool of investors." Make them really clear what your intentions are, and then follow through with your intentions and make sure you follow through. If you offer on stuff though, it's always good, especially in writing, to say subject to, build a report, survey, just in case you do need to pull out. Sometimes you genuinely need to pull out, but just in case you need to pull out, then it gives you a reason to pull out, and you've got it in writing, so you're not breaking down relationships. I bought property before that we really got far into, that I realised wasn't a great deal after we'd got far into it, that I didn't do my own due diligence on it. It worked out the neighbour was a really, really bad neighbour on that estate. I had properties on that estate, the estate was fine, but the neighbour was really terrible, and I didn't do my full due diligence, and at the last minute I found this out, and I didn't pull out of it. Lucky enough, she moved out about 2 months after we got the property, and that's when it rented out. I literally rented out straight after she moved. It stayed empty for ages. Everybody on the estate knew and heard of her, so we couldn't rent it, and it's one of those estates only people from that estate want to be on. But I still followed through that because I didn't want to break down my relationships. Adam has put on, if I was an estate agent too, I would love people that thought we had a relationship, just to be able to phone them up. And where are we? Just be able to phone them up and sell them a property. I'm guessing that is. People so willing to believe anything you say. Estate agents are not your friends. They work for the vendor. Their interests align with the vendor to get the best price. Absolutely, that's a great comment as well. I had somebody the other day got offered a deal from the estate agent, said, yeah, it's a great location. Even agents I get on with still tell me they're great locations, even though I'm pretty sure I know it's not a great location. So a lot of their intention is to sell properties. They've got targets to hit, they've got KPIs to hit, their intention is for the vendor. But the more relationships you do build, I will challenge what you just said there a little bit, Adam, the more relationships you do build, the more friendly they are towards you, although, yes, they have got a job. Their key, what is the word? Their key motive is to sell their properties, you know, so absolutely. But they can be favourable towards you. You can definitely build relationships on the back of that, aside from that as well. But you have always got to have in the back of your mind, the key intention is to sell, the key customer is the vendor. So yeah, for sure. But sometimes a quick sale and being realistic. I've got an agent I get along with, and he's just realistic with the vendors. He says, look, if you try a market like that, it might take you 2-3 months to sell the property. I have got an investor there. He will pay investor money, but he will move quick. It's up to you. If you want a market like that, we can go down that route, but I can have a deal done with you today before it even goes to market. And and he's just truthful with them. And some of them say, yeah, and he goes, right, okay, we've got a deal. This, I know it smashes your criteria. So it definitely does, you definitely can build rapport with them. But as I said, especially at the front end, their intention is to sell the properties, and it's going to take a long while to build them rapports with them. So tip number 4 is speaking their language. So what I mean by speaking their language, as I said earlier on, touched on, so don't say off-market deals, direct to vendor. I want BMV. Start saying to them, start to say to them, vendor. Speak the words vendor. What's the vendor's intentions? Is it a corporate sale? Don't say repossession. For some reason, I'm not allowed to tell you whether or not it's a repossession. It's strange, but they can tell you if it's a corporate sale, which is the same thing, but they won't tell you that. But speak in their language, speak to them in terminologies that they understand, and it's really helps sort of boost on and build your relationships. Number 5 is genuine tokens of appreciation. So not brand envelopes, although some might still take them and be happy with that. But like, be thoughtful. Again, if you've checked their profile out and you've seen what they're into, you might buy them for something really, really thoughtful. You might see they're into the theatre, and you might buy them some theatre tickets because they've done. And I mainly do this when they've gone above and beyond a little bit for me. So I don't do this on every single deal, by the way, like I do for them. If this is a normal deal and I've done what I've done, if they've helped me out, give me a little bit of an inside track on what other people are bidding and try. And again, Adam, this is one of the things, even though they're selling for the vendor, it might be just an investor property. So they might favour you over the other investor. So even though they still are just trying to sell for the vendor and get the best price for them, if it's only 2 investors in the mix to try and buy this, they might favour you over the other investor, although they favour the vendor full stop. So this is where some of that power also lies in. But again, if you think of a thoughtful gift, as I said, and if they genuinely help, I don't do this every time, by the way, and you might be surprised, but something genuine. If you know they like a red wine, or you've seen it on their profile, they're out drinking a glass of red wine with their dinner, or give them some vouchers to go and have a meal, just try and find something that you think's thoughtful, but on a time it warrants is a token of your appreciation. And it's exactly how I word that to them. I say, this is a token of my appreciation. I really see you've gone above and beyond, and I recognise that. And I mainly only recognise that when that is a case to be recognised. If I just bid on a property, it's just really straightforward. I don't often do it, you know. I'll say thank you and I'm appreciative, but I find it carries so much more weight when you recognise it for a recognisable reason, and then that causes a reciprocity of them to repeat that reason, what they've done when they helped you out. Number 6 is just pick a few of them. Like if you try to make relationships with too many agents, it's like, that's why I say to people, when I remote invest, I say don't scattergun yourself and go to loads of different areas, because you need relationships with agents, with builders, with surveyors, with solicitors. And if you although solicitors you could pick from anywhere theoretically, but it is nice having solicitors with a local knowledge. But if you narrow this down to one location, if you're remote investing, and then you can build stronger relationships. If you're in multiple locations, or if you've got multiple agents you're trying to build relationships with, it's going to be diluted down just for your time. You can leverage your social media a little bit. Trust and likability gets built on touch points. So if you can filter them through to your social media and they can see your posts, your personality, you do videos, you can build it to a degree on that. But in-person interaction, whether that's on the phone or popping in to see them, really builds that stronger. So I would narrow in just on a few of them and not try to. I've got relationships, really stronger ones with 3 agents and a few looser ones with a few other ones, but the looser ones with the agents that don't particularly get the style properties that I want. So yeah, and 3 agents has really driven me like a large predominant amount of my properties. But there's my views, there's my tips coming back with that. Hope you found them useful. Anybody let us know what your views are on there. Thanks Adam for giving us a diverse view there. Safe, thanks for your views in there. Morning Sunny, nice to see you today. But yeah, let us know. Is it still working with you? I think there's a massive opportunity coming up with agents. There was still opportunity with them, but every avenue of getting properties at the moment has been difficult. It's because of COVID, and also because there's a lot more money coming into assets because of such a low interest rate, uncertainty, money flies, especially the money pumped into the economy, creates asset price bubbles. You know, the stock market and property prices have gone up. The stock's gone down with property. So it's been tough on all avenues, but definitely still doable. We're still picking up deals from them, not as many as we like, but we're still picking deals up from them. But yeah, definitely still works. So thanks for joining us. This is All About Property live shows every Saturday around 11 o'clock. Might slightly differ depending on my son and my wife's activities, but every Saturday I aim to be talking about engagement posts from the week. So if you find an engagement post that you want to discuss, or you want to jump on a live with us, as long as it's something that's of value to the group and I can bring a little bit of value to, happy to look at them. But remember, if you don't evolve your ideas, you're never going to live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms, and have a fantastic weekend, everyone.